Hey everybody, welcome to the Northernland Live Super Tuesday stream. We got a very special event for us started. Sorry, it took me a minute to get set up here. That's because we're doing the Resin Rivalry 2 draft. Next week, Daniel and I will be doing a best of 3 across 8 weight classes in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Today, arguably even more important as we choose who will be playing as what character. If I go to the draft board here, you can see Daniel has separated all characters into 8 weight classes. Ball, tiny, thin, fur, mid, sword, welter, and thick. We will alternate, making 3 selections from each weight class. Following that, we'll be doing some Smash practice. Following that, some Ace Combat 7 bounty. Following that, Team Unity Minecraft at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to hit Daniel Giesling up on the wire. We should begin the draft here. Give me a second. At Dan Giesling. Hello. I'm ready. Let's do it. And now we wait. While we wait, I can get some Lonely Trout Man going. Or not. Sorry, there's a lot of screen regions to get set up simultaneously. It's very hard to be a professional streamer. You wouldn't understand, okay? Like, Daniel's got this set up. There's like a draft board on the other side of the screen on this website that I've never heard of before that probably stole all of my saved passwords. But sometimes it's worth it for the meme. New scene. Draft results. Studio mode. You see an overlay. I see adding a display capture. Draft results on this display. No F3s, okay? Resin Rivalry actual matches will take place next week, next Tuesday. There will be up to 24 matches. There could be as few as 16. It depends. Just do it today. It's not how it works, okay? You can't, you don't have the weigh-in between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. And then right after the weigh-in, you go, why don't you just fight now? You build hype. You get a venue. You pay Bruce Buffer's appearance fee. You get sponsors, i.e. online casinos. There's a whole methodology. That's what they should do? Nah, man. Nah. Your Disky is muted. Thank you, Daniel. I am a fool.
Absurd so yeet.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Ryan.
Hello.
How are you doing on this very important draft day?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing pretty good. I figure, you know what? We're opening it up to some nice pleasantries.
This is the fun day.
I mean, some may say that this is what sets the tone for everything.
Some might say that. I don't know if they would be correct, but
I mean, the question comes down to, do we believe what the Vegas odds have said? Those that went ahead and voted at Resin Rivalry. Do you want to take a guess at what the final odds were?
85-15.
Pretty close. Out of a large quantity of people, 19.3% thought I would win, and 80.7% have you winning this thing. So essentially, you're, what is that, a 4-1 favorite?
Yeah, I mean, that, to be honest, it doesn't seem that bad.
Well, in our quiet moments, you subtly revealed to me you have over 3,000 hours in the franchise. Does that seem about fair?
What did you just say about me? I'll have you know I have over 3,000 confirmed hours in Super Smash Brothers.
The franchise.
I graduated top of my class at Smash Bros. Academy.
All right, so I figured, you know what? I think there's a lot of importance on the draft. Heading into this, before we hit the red button and start the clock on the first pick in the 2019 Resin Rivalry draft. Too. What are your thoughts and what are you going into this? What's your preparation been draft wise for this?
I have no idea whatsoever.
So you've done no preparation at all for the draft.
That's correct. Yes.
I think if you can still lock your votes in Vegas, I think he's now a 3.5 to 1.
I'm trying to get my screen region set up here with my Mel Kiper Juniors, but it's not as easy as you would think. And I'm not mad, but you did give every character a first name, last name ID field. Why do we need to know Falco's last name? It's just screwing my whole screen region up here.
It's part of the deal. It just like this is, believe it or not, I did a lot of research on how to set up an online draft. It's 99.9% fantasy football. This was the only one I could find where it's like you can customize it.
All right.
It was worth the $20 for this one draft. So
you spent $20 on this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a small fee, towards the marketing budget, the promotion, licensing fees from Nintendo. I mean, $20 just a drop in the bucket for this.
Dude, I'll split it with you, I guess.
No, it's all good. So heading into this thing, I mean, I figured while you're setting up your screen region.
Yeah, but I'm close.
Okay. You want me to explain the format?
Please do, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we try to make this as simple as possible, but the way this is going to work is we're going to draft 24 players each. So it's I draft, then Ryan. So it's alternating. And then from there, so we draft 24 fighters. There's 8 weight classes. You can go to bit.ly/resinweight, capital R, capital W, to see the weight classes. But then what's going to happen is each weight class is going to be a best of 3. So, for example, say Ryan drafted DK, Bowser, and King Cool, right? What's his name? King Cruel?
King K. Rool, yeah.
King K. Rool, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
you
please, no, I was
the
wrong.
best of 3. I think you're better at the best.
Well, I mean, everybody knows what a best of 3 is.
Right.
I don't think they need an explanation.
Okay, so that's it. So then basically you either win the weight class or you don't. Whoever wins the most weight classes wins the Resin Cup. Pretty straightforward.
Dude, you know what's not straightforward is setting up a screen region that actually works here.
Why don't you just go full screen?
I don't want everybody to see everything, the keys to the kingdom.
Oh, your draft intel.
Exactly, my Mel Kiper seniors.
Hey, well, I understand. But, unlike Ryan Gary, look, I realize the situation we're in right now. I may be a 4-1 underdog, but what was Buster Douglas in Tokyo against Mike Tyson? I think it was like a 50-1. So I think we have a narrow path to victory, but internally, I'll just share this intel with you. I have to make a decision, and it hasn't been made yet. Do I go the BM route, or do I go out and try to win this thing? And I don't think until the first draft pick comes out, you're not going to know what's going to happen.
Dude, okay, I'm excited. I'm also ready. I'm just going to do a quick test here. We're going to hit the transition button. Wow, look at that. It's majestic. It almost even lines up. Okay.
I have your chat pulled up. Chat, can you give me, because I don't want to see Ryan's draft board. Can you guys give me a 0 to 100% rating on Ryan's presentation right now? I'm gonna guess it's
probably like
97.
a 2 would probably be the most appropriate. All right. Let's do it, Daniel. I believe you have the first pick if you are ready.
Yes, so I am going to start this thing and hit the button. And I think we are. I'm just going to hit the live enter the draft. Start the draft now. Are you ready to start the draft now? We're started.
I'm ready.
All right.
Oh, it has begun.
All right, it has begun. All right, so the first pick in the overall 2019 Resin Rivalry 2 draft. It's a big decision. It's going to set the tone for here on out. I won't go this deep on each one, but do you have any hypothesis who you think the number one pick in the draft is going to be?
I would assume that there's two options. One
Okay.
choice would be that you're going to take Bowser because he's your strongest character. Actually, I'm going to give you three options. Bowser because he's your strongest character. Alternatively, you want to take one of the characters I'm strongest with, Rob or DK, just to throw me off. Or you've been practicing off camera with someone entirely different.
Okay.
And I'm going to bet on Bowser, but let's see.
Okay. With the first pick in the 2019. Let me make sure I know how to. 2019 Resin Rivalry draft. I'm actually have a draft card here, and I'm reading it off and I'm showing it to the crowd. They heard a gasp, and the selection has been made and processed. Tell me that it shows up on your end.
It does not show up on my end.
Okay, it's still processing. It has been processed.
Wow. With the first pick, fighting out of the welter division, Daniel takes Rob.
Sometimes you got to draft the best available player. You draft the best available player left on the board right there. But
Okay.
you're on the clock here, Ryan.
Well, I see how it is. Let me go take a look at the draft board here. I probably would have made Rob my first pick given the choice, so I think you've made a wise decision there. I am going to follow up fighting out of the tiny division for the second pick in the draft. I don't know how to... Please let me click on you. How does one...
So you click that far right box. It's like an empty square. You click that, and then there'll be a button that pops up in the middle that says draft.
Dan, I think I'm logged into your account. I don't know how to explain this, but in the top right,
yeah,
it says Dan G.
Okay.
So I don't know if somehow I've received a link that allows me to be logged into your account.
Can you like kill your screen so people don't see it?
Oh, dude, yeah. Here,
If you go in the upper right hand corner and you click on the name and then account, what shows up?
Dan G.
No, but does it show like if you click account, does it give you your email address?
Don't worry about it. I'm logged in as my own account now.
Oh, you should be fine then.
I just had to log out and then log back in. That is hilarious. Okay. All right. We're back.
Hey, look, the NFL had first issues in their first draft too. Right?
Yeah, I remember when the Rams accidentally drafted a pick for the Cardinals because they were logged into their Facebook account. All right, fighting out of the tiny division. Many people have already predicted it. With the second pick in the Resin Rivalry 2 draft, I select Isabel.
And that's a bit of a stretch in your first overall pick, Isabel.
That's correct.
What's the justification behind that?
She is good. Also, she is... Don't take this the wrong way. She's going to annoy you a great deal because of the fact that you can just hang out off the edge and shoot 4% slingshots all day that will send your Bowser off the edge if you even get to take Bowser.
Okay. So I'll share some draft intel with you. Next, I had Isabel down in the tiny weight division with the comments next to it, must block. So you stopped one of my steal picks, all right? But hey, it's part of the ball game here. Now, a lot of talent still left on the board right now. You know, it's a wide open deal here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take our shot here. It may be a little controversial, but with the second overall pick, straight out of Philadelphia.
Little Mac? It hasn't sent yet, so I got to make my own guess. Yeah? Little Mac. Never would have expected it, to be honest. Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Have you ever played as Little Mac?
I cannot confirm nor deny what's been going on behind closed doors.
But he's like highly not that good, I think.
Well, you know what? There's a couple roads to victory here. As long as a certain path stays open, I'm going to take those roads.
I mean, I support your decision.
Okay. You're on the clock. Your second overall pick here.
Yeah, I'm still working on my screen region. One sec.
Yeah.
Once I actually logged into my account, things got a little bit more confusing.
I will say I feel like he's got limitations.
Yeah,
but
like if he gets off the edge, he can't come back.
However, it's the cost of doing business. You pack a wallop, you're gonna have to give something up on the rear end.
Pardon me? What kind of show do you think this is? All right, let's see. I mean, this is probably substantially worse. I don't even know if anybody can read this text, but you feel free to let me know. All right. So, it's better. Perfect. All right.
Okay.
For my third overall pick, fighting out of the... I got to go thick division. You take best player available. I agree. I choose my man himself. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. Donkey Kong. Very eager to show off the ABS strategy that made me famous in the first place. The ball's back in your court.
Wow. I mean, you said he's the leader of the thick division. I mean, you got some heavy hitters in that division. You got Bowser, you got DDD, you got Incinefer, and yet you put DK at the head.
I agree,
of that group.
Yeah.
What's your reasoning behind that?
He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. And if you know the words, you can sing along as well. Also, newfound political symbol and zeitgeist, Donkey Kong, with a cause I can get behind, ready to kick some shell.
What's a zeitgeist?
I don't know. It gets the people going.
Okay, fair enough. We do things a little bit different here in the Midwest. Our draft strategy may be puzzling to some, but we're gonna go ahead, and this may ruffle some feathers out in the BC region. But out of the sword weight division, straight out of Hyrule. He's not hypertext. He's not HTML. But he goes by the name of Link. Thoughts on Link going in the 5th overall slot?
I refuse to give my thoughts on Link going in the 3rd overall slot.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because I'm going to follow up your Link pick with Young Link in the same division. The mirror match. The player, he's been selected.
Some may question if there's been a leak of the draft intel inside the Dan Giesling camp.
Well, were you just planning to draft all of the links?
I mean, next to Young Link, the comments were must have.
Well, then why did you take regular Link?
Because he's also a must have.
How many must haves do you have?
I got some must haves, and I got some must blocks, and I got some don't ever touch. All right.
Okay.
All right. So draft board's still wide open. A lot of great players available on the board. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and we're going to shore some things up here. Shore them up. This individual comes in a blue nature and a green nature, and he's missing a hand because he's part individual, part machine.
You drafting Darth Vader?
In the middleweight division. The kid out of Dr. Light's laboratory goes by the name of Mega Man.
Have you ever played Mega Man?
There's a path to victory. I'm running our sets. I'm sticking to the process. There's going to be people in the crowd that say, what's he doing? We're going to run our sets here.
I feel like I'm going down the draft board. I've discovered part of the strategy here. Rob, Link, Mega Man. There's a high degree of projectile usage here. Okay.
Look, we've studied some game tape on our opponent out of ECBC. Got to do what we got to do out here.
Okay, I'm thinking.
But the 8th overall pick is north of the border in the hands of Ryan Gary Letourneau.
Dude, I'll give you some real draft strategy right here, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mid-tier, I don't care who you take anymore. Because I know I'm getting... You can only take one more pick. I know I'm either getting Mario, Luigi, Mario, or I'm getting Mario, Dr. Mario, or Luigi, Dr. Mario. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
Mid's
Okay,
locked up for me as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
If you give me the cape and you give me the fireball, I'm a happy man. So I'm already good on this Mario business.
Okay.
I got to take a look at some other categories. Dude, I have no idea who I'm going to take in ball category. I'll tell you that much. I think with the 8th overall pick in the Resin Rivalry draft, we're going with the character that's in the tiny class that chat rightfully said should have been in the thin class because he's two-dimensional. And not in the same way that Links are two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
In a literal two-dimensional context, Mr. Game & Watch.
I can't say that's not entirely shocking. I will say the Nevada Board of Commission of Gaming thought that the thin division was a little too thick. So Mr. Game & Watch, he was kind of the tweener, and he got sent down a division. That I know there was some controversy around that, but looks like your tiny division is pretty shored up down there, huh?
I got Isabel, and I have Game & Watch.
Okay. So just like you may say, the mid-weight class is locked up. Tiny, you pretty much got your sets that you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so next move here, you look for the best available players, right? So out here, we're not about the popular pick. We're out here trying to build a dynasty. One selection at a time, with the first selection out of a weight class that is yet to be touched. We're going to go ahead and select Kerbis Your Enthusiasm.
All right. Kirby from the ball division. I also realize I've made a gross mistake, and so have you.
Yeah.
If you're going to go full-on projectile spam...
That's an assumption, but might be a fair assumption. Yes.
I have no choice but to besmirch my own principles. With the 10th overall pick in the draft, fighting out of Transylvania,
ooh,
Simon Belmont.
Wow, that's a shocker. That's a good pick right there, kid. I'll tell you what, I didn't expect that that's a talent-based pick. You make a lot of popular vote-based pick, but that tells me you're taking this thing seriously. That's hidden stock right there. That's a good pick.
What did you have written next to Simon Belmont on the draft board?
I will say this, Simon Belmont, I had as my number 3 pick in that weight class. So that was a good one. I'll tell you that. But it wasn't my number 2 pick. So I'm looking at a couple things now. We're looking at positions. We're looking at talent. Where do we need to fill in some holes here? So I'm going to stay in the same weight division. And you know what? What's good? What's one good Kerbis without Meta World Night Peace?
I will say, I was thinking about taking Meta Knight because he's just superior Kirby.
You know what? You need a good Kerbis. You need a good meta. That we're starting to shore up some things here. You know.
With the 12th pick in the Resin Rivalry draft, I select Richter Belmont.
I see what you're doing here. Mel Kiepis had him as the 4th overall best player
in the whole board.
No, in the welterweight tier.
Oh, okay.
Welterweight tier. All right. So one may, I'm taking a look at your picks. I like what you're doing. You're doing some interesting stuff. And I'm looking at next best available here, and I feel like there's a couple weight classes that are wide open. There's a couple that are locked down. But I'm going to go ahead and take the 2nd overall rated player in the welterweight division. Some may say he could have potentially went thick, but he's not Sub-Zero. He's an F-Zero. Captain Falcon.
That's a position-based selection. I did think about taking Falcon myself. He's my old main. But, all I got to say is who knows him better than the person who used to play as him. So,
Fair enough. Now, all right, so you got the 14th overall pick.
I'm looking at this fur division.
It's wide open. No one's been selected out of the fur division.
Completely untouched. I don't think anybody's been selected out of the thin division either. So, how could I sleep at night if I didn't, as the first pick overall in the fur division, take the Lord of the Eggs himself, Yoshi, the green dinosaur?
Wow. I will say draft analysts and ESPN have that as your first missed opportunity on the board. A pick that just people may say the former Canuck GM is reaching on that pick, but you know what? We'll see how it plays out. What's your reasoning behind taking Yoshis?
His shield is an egg.
Okay.
His side B is an egg. He throws eggs, and if you don't know what's coming for you, you're gonna get laid in an egg off the edge. And all I can think about is I don't know who you're gonna take. Maybe Falco Lombardi or something like that. All of a sudden you got a big bird-shaped egg falling off the edge, and all you hear in the background is.
Fair enough. So you like Yoshi's big egg play potential?
Absolutely.
Okay, big time finisher. All right, okay, fair enough. So we're looking pretty good across the board here. We have an extremely high rated draft, but I think you know what, we may have left them on the board a little too long, but it was part of the gamble. You have a couple pre-draft conversations with some of the characters. Say, hey, look, we want you to come play in the Midwest. You just got to hang tight. We're trying to get some great value. If you drop a few rounds, that's okay. But it's time to lock up our franchise player. We let him slip a little bit just to see if he could get a little extra value. We did. He's going to be rewarded. We're going to take Bowsy, Goldan Bowsy, with the 15th overall pick. Some may say the number one most talented character in the whole draft, but that's debatable.
Here's the thing. It's like getting the first round pick, as the Colorado Avalanche from the Ottawa Senators. Just because the number one prospect is a senator or is a center, it doesn't mean you need to take a center. You already got Nathan McKinnon. You don't necessarily need to take that. You could go for a defenseman.
Okay. Fair enough.
I saw Bowser. He's slipping down the draft board. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Take him whenever you want to take him.
All right. You got the 16th pick right now. We're right kind of at the borderline end of the first round. Not quite there yet, but these players drafted in this first round get a little bit more PT, a little bit more, side benefits than those drafted after pick 24. So
absolutely.
Some big picks right here coming up.
With the first pick from the thin division,
ooh,
I am going to take at 16th overall Samus Aran. Big gun, okay. Flamethrower, bombs, missiles, and spikes. And I gotta say, these are spikes from the Nintendo 64 era. I got a lot of inertia connected to these spikes.
Okay. So this may harken back to like Old Faithful. You got a lot of familiarity with Samus.
Absolutely.
Any particular reason why you didn't take Dark Samus over Samus?
I don't have a belt that has spikes on it. Okay,
fair enough. All right, lot of good players available still on the board here. Let's I'm looking perusing right now. You've got 2 picks out of the tiny division. I think you're pretty locked up there. And I think here's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna shore up some things in the thick division. We're gonna take. You know what?
Don't do
It's
it.
a tough call. It's a tough call. Oh, man, this is because I feel like the first 15 picks. This is where you differentiate yourself. Late first round, early second round. The clutch picks is where they come in. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shore some things up in the thick division. I'm gonna go ahead. And I'm going to take maybe a bit of a reach here. He's got some male pattern ballness.
No.
He's got a sword, but he's in the thick division. He's also known as Dorf Lord. We're going to take Ganondorf. This 3rd overall pick from the thick division.
All right, so you're done on thicks.
I mean, we could be, or we could take some blocks,
Can you, though?
I mean, you're supposed to draft 3 players. You don't have to. You're supposed to draft 3 players per weight class.
Okay.
You don't have to, technically.
But wouldn't you, just give up 1 weight class then if you did that?
Yeah, or you could, or I could take someone that I think you're going to take.
All right. I'm just going to let it happen, I guess. All right. In response to your selection of Ganondorf, with the 18th overall pick in the draft, Team Northern Lions selects a fellow Donkey Kong Country adversary, King Kenneth Rule.
Wow. There's a little bit of a run on the thick division right now. Some draft boards have King Kenneth Rule as the worst player in the thick division. What's your response to that?
Have you ever heard of Incineroar? Who should be in the fur division, in my opinion. I mean, look at him.
That's true, but he's a. What if could be in both the fur and you've got some thickness?
It's a valid point. I guess the fur division is pretty full. But I mean, there's people in the fur division that don't have any fur.
Like who?
Pokemon Trainer? Why is Pokemon Trainer in there and then also all 3 Pokemon?
Just to beef up the draft board a little bit. All right. So 19th overall pick coming up. We feel pretty short up in the thick division. But I'm going to go ahead and I think this is going to draw maybe the single greatest amount of boos in all picks. But I'm going to go with maybe the most despised character in all of Smash. Out of the fur division, the number 1 prospect, we're going to take Fox McClode.
Wow. Boo.
Not a fan favorite, but you know what? You got to have the Claude Lemieux on your team that aren't afraid to rough someone up, In
response to the selection of Fox McCloud with the 20th overall pick, Team Northern Lion chooses Falco Lombardi.
Come on. You can't. You got to give me some intel. Do you have moles inside Draft HQ in Michigan right now?
I have a new strategy. It's very simple. The strategy is whenever Dan picks a character, pick the most similar remaining character on the board.
That's part of our sets. You can't take our sets, then we only have to learn 1 character. All right, I'm making this selection very quickly before he gets yanked off the board with the 21st overall pick in the Resin Rivalry draft. I'm taking the evil Austin, aka Wolf, in the fur division. Get him signed up here. We'll get him to a 10-day contract. All right, you're up. Kid.
Okay. Well, I gotta think. I've taken nobody in the ball division yet.
There's not a whole lot. You got Pikachu, Pichu, Jigglypuff, and Pac-Man available.
In the tiny division, I got 1 pick left. In the thin division, I got 2 picks left. In the fur division, I got 1 pick left. I've taken nobody from mid. I've taken 1 sword. I got 1 welter left. I got 1 heavy left. With the 22nd pick in the Resin Rivalry draft, Team Northern Lion chooses Ike, the sword class character most analogous to Theodore Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick.
So, someone like Mel Kiper, just sent me a little note. I told him it was inappropriate to ask you, but so he's going to ask you himself. With a draft class, a weight class so stalked as the sword weight division, what imposed you to dip your pinky toe in that pond at this state in the draft?
Look at the first row of the sword class. They're all the same.
Yeah.
It's just pauldrons and spiky hair as far as the eye can see. I chose Ike because out of all the first 8 or 9 on the board, they're all nimble and their sword is made out of, it's like a practice sword. Ike carries a Zweihander that if it catches you right on the tippy tip, it sends you to the freaking stratosphere. One of the sword mains, I want to point out, one of the sword characters in this class doesn't have a sword. She has a book. But
who is this?
Robin.
I don't expect her to get drafted, do you? All right. That was an interesting pick. I'll tell you what, you got the odds makers scratching their goatees with that one. However, we're going to go ahead and sometimes in any kind of draft, there's a run on a certain position. So we're going to go ahead and try to shore up our sword division right now. Some people debate why he's in the ball game. Other people love his stages, and they also love. Some may say he's got the largest sword in the game. He's sometimes known as Cumulonimbus, but often goes by the name Cloud. We're going to sign him to a 10-day contract.
So I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, now that Cloud is taken, I don't care who the last sword character is. Roy, Chrome, Corinne, Lucina, Robin, Shulk, they're all the same character. As far as I'm concerned.
Just a quick note, this is the last pick of the first round. So this, whoever you select here, they get the benefits that your next pick won't. They get the red carpet, the limo service. The next player you picked after this one gets picked up in a 2015 Ford Fiesta that sometimes the transmission rumbles. So that's something to play into consideration here.
All right. With the final pick of the first round, Resin Rivalry number 2, set for January 29th, 2019. Fighting out of left field. The Big Shell. The Big Boss. The Snake Eater. Solid Snake.
Interesting selection. That shores up Ryan Gary Letourneau's welterweight division. His welterweight division team looks like Simon and Richter Belmont and Solid Snake. So technically, Ryan is done in that weight class. Shored it up. Ryan, after 24 picks, the first round's wrapped up here. Thoughts heading into the second round? Thoughts on your selections in the first round?
The Rob pick really threw me for a tizzy in the welterweight division. I personally, coming in, I would have thought Rob, Captain Falcon. I don't even know after that. I thought those were 2 locks, but your draft strategy threw me for a little bit of a loop, and I've had to reconfigure for myself now as a result. I don't call it the welterweight division anymore. It's called the Konami division. Hideo Kojima has sponsored that division for me, and I'll be fighting for him. Death Stranding 2020. Bank it.
Okay. Fair enough.
How about you? Right. How do you feel?
You know what? I'll tell you this. I'll give you a little insight here. Out of 2, 4, 6, 8 must-have selections, we got 7 out of the 8 must-haves. So on the flip side, I will give you an immense amount of credit on your draft strategy for taking Young Link. That was that punched a critical hole in our rowboat. So, we left us scrambling there a little bit in the sword division, which we had to go out and reach and get Cloud a little bit. But overall, fairly happy with the first round. The second round, I feel, is as vitally as important. So with that being said, the second round of the Resin Rivalry Part 2 draft is going to be commencing with the first selection for Team Dan Giesling in the thin division. Some may say he's improperly named because in his original game that he came out in, the game wasn't titled Pit. It was called Kid Icarus, so let's sign him up, kid.
May I ask why you're going for a Pit instead of Dark Pit?
He's got better colors.
All right. Well, it's the same as the NFL, round 1. You don't take a kicker. You don't take a punter. In the NHL, round 1, very, very rarely are you going to take a goaltender. They got to be your blue chip prospect, your Carey Price, etc., etc. In the second round, the first pick for Team Northern Lion fighting out of the vaunted Ball division.
Ooh.
Jigglypuff.
Oh. There's gonna the fans in VCBC have some questions on that one. What's the reasoning behind that one?
There's a few things I look for. I'm a character guy when it comes to being a general manager.
Okay.
Raw skill is important, but I value someone with a strong tradition. And Jigglypuff has been in the game since the beginning, 20 years in one day. Down A, down A, down A, down B. You get rested. You get sent to the stratosphere.
Okay.
How about you?
Early matchups, who do you like Jigglypuff against? You like him, I don't know what Jiggly is, but you like Jiggly's chances better against Kirby or Meta Knight? I don't think you like either of those.
Independently, I don't think it matters at all whatsoever. What I will say is what Meta Knight needs a sword to accomplish, Jigglypuff can do with just their feet.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go on a little run with the 27th overall pick, the second pick of the second round. We're going to follow up our thin pick with Pitt's mirror image. Some may say he's got a little more pop to his arrow, a little bit more resin to his range, but we're going to sign up Dark Pitt to a 8-day contract and see if he can take care of business there.
Okay. I don't need to ask what your reasoning is there.
Simple. You only got so many days to run your sets. You know, in the training process, we got to get these guys acclimated to our system. We got 7 days to do it. You know, we can lump them in the same category and take 2 for 1.
In response to your selection of Dark Pit with the 28th selection in the Resin Rivalry draft, Team Northern Lion takes Dark Samus.
I respect that pick. That was going to be my next pick out of nothing but BMing, but I respect the pick. All right. So, got a couple things we need to shore up here, and I think I think from the shore up division, you know, he's been a little overpassed. We have not selected any fighters out of the tiny weight, so since they're available right now. Just seeing if there's any good blocks available. Not seeing any great blocks. Samus was the last great block. But at the same time, we're going to go out of left field here. We're going to take a little bit of a stretch just because I don't want to face this fighter. Out of the ball division, we're going to be taking Pika. Because I don't want your mitts all over Pikachu.
I'm very upset because Pikachu was I had it down between Jigglypuff and Pikachu. The final instant, I said Jigglypuff.
Well, now you're going to be stuck with Pac-Man.
Or Ice Climbers. Well, with the 30th overall pick, some might say, I mean, I'm not going to say it because I stand Rob, but considered the best character in the game by many people, a strictly better version of their older brother, the 30th overall selection, Team Northern Lion selects Pichu.
And this is a completely non-biased question. Is there a lot of difference between Pikachu and Pichu?
Guess what, buddy? I've never played as Pichu, so I don't know.
All right, good. I feel a little bit more confident in that matter. All right. So I'm just looking at what you need to shore up here. You got a lot of things you need to shore up here.
I'm going to take a inventory. I need one ball, one tiny, one thin, one fur, 3 mid, one sword, and 1 thick. Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the last remaining difference maker in the thick division. I had him as the 3rd overall rated thick player. He's between an F in chat and a C in chat. We're going to be taking King D with the 31st overall pick.
Okay.
It was too much talent just to be sitting out there.
I understand. That's probably who I would have taken next for sure.
I feel like the thick division, I'm just maybe prophesizing. I think it may come to that 3rd battle. I don't think the thick division is going to be a 2-0 situation. This is my prophet. King DD, that pick right there could be the difference in the entire ball game. I'm just throwing that out there.
With the 32nd pick, fighting out of the thin division, Team Northern Lions selects Daisy.
All right, that shores you up in the thin division. All right,
What was that sound for?
I mean, I didn't even have her in the top 8 in the thin division, but that's all right.
Somebody hasn't been reading Super Smash Brothers Monthly.
All right, so let's see what we got available here. I need to shore up a few things here and there, but I'm going to go ahead and out of a very untapped weight class in the tiny division, I'm going to go ahead and fill the void of Young Link, and I'm going to select with the 33rd overall pick. We're going to be taking Toon Link. Same process. Go ahead.
With the 34th overall pick, in response to Toon Link, Team Northern Lion finishes its tiny division selection by taking Ness.
That was a great pick.
Thank you.
That was the 2nd overall rated fighter in there. All right, so fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shore up the thin division. Can I get some preemptive little brother spam in chat? I didn't understand until after playing with her did I get it, but you know what? You got that kind of flamboyancy confidence. You come play on our team. We're taking Bayonetta with the 35th overall pick.
It's a tough decision for me because, this is where you don't want to be on the draft board. What do I choose my favorite out of Ice Climbers or Pac-Man? Or do I choose my favorite sword main out of Roy, Chrome, Corinne, Robin, Lucina, Shulk, and I don't even know the names of half of these characters, to be honest. But I feel like, the fur division is still, I got 1 pick remaining there. I've been doing a little bit of intel on Daniel. He's counterpicked me several times with the 36th overall pick. My final pick from the fur division, I'm cheating and selecting 2 fighters. One of them is a duck, the other one's a duck hunt.
Brother of Michael. All right. So he finished up the fur division. Ryan Gary's fur division looks like Falco, Yoshi, and Duck Hunt. Respect it. We got to shore up the. You know what? We're gonna make a move here. We're gonna shore up the mid division here. Put you in a little bit of a predicament. This is more of a BM play, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna lock up Mario with the 37th overall pick. That way, you gotta diversify your portfolio a little bit. You can't get the Dr. Mario combo. You can't double dip. So we're gonna take Mario. Also, it takes out a player from your pool that you've been playing with for 3,000 hours.
That's true. Fair enough.
You're on the clock with the 38th pick.
I am indeed. Well, consider myself a counter puncher and a counter picker.
Okay.
The 38th overall pick, I take Superior Mario, a.k.a. Luigi.
Mm. Mm. Congratulations on that one. Um, he was not going to sniff the Midwest, but congratulations on that nonetheless. With the 39th overall pick, we're going to shore up the fur division. There's been a little bit of controversy around this selection, but we're going to go ahead and pick up Pokemon Trainer. And we got a little something up our sleeves for that.
Okay. Gee. I just don't know, man. With the 39th overall pick, Team Northern Lion selects another two fighters, Nana and Popo, the Iced Climbers, finishing up the Ball division.
I respect it. Yeah, that leaves Pac-Man as the only odd player out in the Ball division. No draft arena for Pac-Man. He gets sent back to the CFL. All right, we're on pick 41, only 48 total picks. We're coming towards the close of round 2. Got to shore up a few things here. The Sword division's wide open still, as is. Let's see, Sword division. I don't know much about him. This is going to be a completely blind draft here. But I'm going to go ahead and take not Wayne, not Garth, but we're going to take Shulk. That was a last second change, Shulk, just because I have the amiibo. Right. He's the one with the red sword, right, Shulk?
I have no idea.
Does Shulk have the red sword?
Shulk requires a PhD to play.
Okay.
I believe Roy has the red sword, but
you got a tough decision to make in the thick division.
That's what you think, buddy. With the 42nd pick, fighting out of the thick division, Team Northern Lion selects Incineroar.
Ooh. Do you have any familiarity with Incineroar?
None whatsoever.
He's good. I like him. Ridley is the odd man out in the thick division, does not get a chance to showcase his talents. All right, we only got one more weight class to shore up with the 43rd overall pick. I am going to be taking and this is, I only mean this in the greatest amount of respect and admiration. I'm going to be taking the Mathis variant, also known as Villager, with the 43rd overall.
Wow. That's a surprise.
Sign him up, kid.
So you're done in Tiny?
I am not done in Tiny.
Oh,
I still got
okay.
one more to go.
With the 44th overall pick, Team Northern Lion chooses out of the mid division me Gunner.
Ew.
Also, Team Northern Lion asks, how do you unlock me Gunner?
I don't know. You took me Gunner over Dr. Mario?
I still got one pick in the mid division.
Oh, okay. I got it. I think I'm off one pick. Because according to my notes, I only have to pick a Tiny and a Welter. Oh, I'm good. No, I'm good. I only got 2 picks left. All right, so I want to put a little respect on this one. This one's going to be a tough one, but let's go ahead and shore up the Tiny division with our second to last pick, the 45th overall. We're going to be taking the individual with the lid off. We're going to be taking Lucas.
Wow. I got to be honest, when I took Ness, I kind of thought I'm protecting Dan from himself.
Well, Pikmin is garbage tier, and Inkling, no.
All right, I need one mid and one sword. Those are my last two picks.
Mm-hmm.
On the mid level, I select Doc Mario. As predicted.
Okay, fair enough. All right, this is a big one. You know, there's a lot of different roads to go here in the welterweight. In our last pick, we got Ken and Ryu combo, or we go Wario, who sometimes breaks out the old hog. So, by hog I mean Harley Davidson. However, I got to rely on a little bit of experience on this one. We're going to be taking the old, I don't know, what is it? Hadouken. We're going to take the Hadouken with our last pick. And with the 48th overall pick in any draft, it's not meant to BM, but the last pick in the draft is always referred to as Mr. or Mrs. Irrelevant. So you get to dub that person with the last pick in the draft.
Dan chose Ryu, by the way.
Yeah, I chose Ryu.
I choose, with the last pick in the draft, Roy. Another three-letter boy whose name starts with an R and has a Y in it.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Roy's our boy.
Be referred to.
There you go. There's the picks.
All right. 2 rounds, 24 picks each. Resin Rivalry 2. Players have been drafted. Final closing thoughts before we just mention when the actual fight is. Ryan, how do you feel about your draft class?
I feel good. I've taken some fighters who I'm not super familiar with, and I think that's positive because it means you take nothing for granted. We got some practice to be doing. We got to learn about these individuals, and hopefully that'll steer us wisely. How about you?
Well, I got a quick 3-question, just fire back. Who do you think your best overall selection was?
Isabel.
Who do you think your steal of the draft was?
Ooh. I got to go back to my draft board.
Yeah.
Steal of the draft? Probably taking one of the Links, Young Link.
Okay. And who do you think is potentially your worst draft pick?
Oh, man. Probably Daisy.
Okay. that was like a mid-level. I guess not.
Or me, Gunner, or the Ice Climbers. One of these characters I've never played as.
Okay.
How about you? Who's your pick of the draft?
I think my pick of the draft, I think we shocked the world a little bit, and I'm going to go with Captain Falcon. You know, I think you saw Rob coming. I don't think you saw Captain Falcon.
Fair. And how about your steal of the draft?
My steal of the draft, I'm going to have to go on a limb, and I just think on the value side of it, it's either Bowser or Little Mac. I think looking at the mid-division, it's very slim pickings. I think you take a look at Little Mac. I think he's the head and shoulders best character in that ball club, and also getting Bowser in the late first round. I think maybe what we lack for in skill, I'm hoping we close the gap a little bit in our draft strategy.
And who's your least confident character?
I'd say my probably too early of a pull. You know, the pick I regret is probably Pikachu. I think I maybe could have got a little more value in that same round.
I'll trade you Pikachu for Ice Climber straight up.
I will if you give me one win in the ball division.
No comment.
All right. With that being said, the actual fight, the 8 weight class Resin Rivalry 2 is going to take place 7 days from now, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Tuesday, which is what, the 29th?
Correct.
And we have 7 days to practice. You know, the stages are set. Ryan's a 4-1 favorite. Ryan, thank you so much for taking part of the draft, and it was a fun one.
Dude, thanks for organizing it.
And my pleasure. Looking forward to it. I wish you best of luck in your training, and I'll see you at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for Team Unity.
All right, see you then.
All right, my friend, later.
Well, that was fun. Draft is set. Some of those picks, I'll admit, they're a little bit memeable. But if I take a look at the board here, let me get the Wii U hooked up here. Or the Switch hooked up here. Okay, so we got Pichu, Ice Climbers, Jigglypuff. I got to practice everybody in ball class. That's a given. Tiny class, we're looking real good. You know, Game & Watch, Ness, and Isabel, I feel like lights out with at least 2 of the 3 of those. Thin class, I don't need to practice too much Samus. Just got to get used to the way the floatiness is in this game versus the N64 game. Daisy needs a little practice. Fur class, I got to be honest, Falco plays himself. All I got to do is hit down B. Duck Hunt needs a little bit of work. Yoshi is probably the one I'm going to focus on most there. Mid-class, I have never played Mii Gunner, so that's a big one. Luigi, I want to learn that combo at least. Dr. Mario plays himself. Sword mains play themselves. With Ike, you just punish. Everybody else, you just do... Well, Link, you just spam projectiles. Everybody else, you just do, like, forward air and back air. Welter, press the B button, win the game. Thick Division, DK and K Rool, I feel no fear. Incineroar needs a little bit of practice. So where are we going to start? Dude, I want to play a little Jigglypuff. I've never done it before. Except in the N64 edition. There were no short hops in that game. Or at least I didn't know that there were short hops in that game. Bam, bam. You have to make a Mii Gunner. Absolutely will. Give me the main here. Main. PlayStation 4, which is actually a Nintendo Switch. Alright. Here we go. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're going to start against like maybe some level 7 CPU and see how it goes from there. You know I'm going to make... There's only 2 options. Either the Mii Gunner is going to look like Dan, or the Mii Gunner is going to look like Sirso Yeet. Jigglypuff. Such BM that Jigglypuff, of all the series regulars from Series 1, has to go on the bottom of the first row, aka the start of the second row. And if you don't play Jigglypuff with a bow, you're a coward. Make him look like Mathis. Alright, so here's what I know about Jigglypuff. Short hop A, down B. Teach me your secrets.